In this video, I just want to show you some slides that I took a little while ago, 2018, so 3 years ago this summer. We went to a Jamon Iberico farm where they actually produce the most amazing cured hams. It's a place called Jamon Iberico, and they're based in a little town called Puerto Gil in the Huelva province of southwest Spain. Worth a visit. I'll put the details down in the link so you can link into it. If you're interested in this kind of charcuterie, do leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. If you've got any questions, please ask them. I'll be doing a question and answer session later on, and let us know what you think.
These cured air-dried hams are some of the finest examples of this method of curing in the whole world. Located in the southwest part of Spain, in the province of Huelva, sits the town of Puerto Gil. Here, since 1842, the family business Iberico produces the revered Jamon de Bellota. This is truly one of the most delicious and flavoursome cured hams in Spain, and is distinctly different from Serrano ham. The whole process starts with the Iberian Blackfoot pig, known in Spanish as pata-negra, literally translated as black leg or black hoof depending on who you talk to. However, the term pata-negra only relates to the highest grade 100% Iberian pig. The pigs that produce the finest Jamon Iberico de Bellota are free range and spend 2 seasons on acorns. The pigs roam free on the dehesta and feed on wild herbs, roots, and when in season, acorns. This is where the ham gets its name from. Bellota, translated, means acorns. The dehesta, where the pigs roam free to forage for themselves, is essentially a low-density woodland populated primarily with cork oak trees, grassy meadows and wildflower shrubs and herbs. The pigs have to achieve at least 12 to 14 months old before they go off to slaughter. The number of pigs roaming and foraging for acorns in the cork oak dehesta is carefully controlled and is a very important point to note, as the yearly crop of acorns varies each year according to the climate. Pig breeders need to keep this in mind, as the acorn crop needs to be sufficient to sustain the pigs foraging on them. The pigs forage for up to 4 months during the Montañera season and eat between 7 to 8 kilograms of acorns each day. This limits the amount of the finest Bellota ham that can be produced. For this reason, each pig has to have anywhere between 0.8 hectares to 2 hectares of dehesta for foraging. To give you some idea of scale, 2 hectares is equivalent to 4 football pitches. This really is slow food on an epic scale and goes a long way towards explaining the price of the finished product. The pigs are taken to the slaughterhouse the day before slaughter to allow them to recover from the transportation and for them to regain muscle glycogen. After slaughter, the hams hang for 24 to 36 hours under strict temperature controls before they go on to be cured. The legs and shoulders are selected by weight. Hams are grouped into 3 weight categories: 6 to 8 kilograms, 8 to 11 kilograms, and hams over 11 kilograms. The shoulders are divided into 2 weight categories also, from 4 to 5 kilograms and shoulders over 5 kilograms. Hams below 6 kilograms and shoulders below 4 kilograms cannot be used to make Jamon Iberico, as they fall outside the specification for the product. They are instead reserved to be used in other products. When the hams return from the slaughterhouse, they are carefully trimmed to remove strategic parts of skin to assist with the curing and drying process. When the skin is trimmed back, it reveals the underlying fat. The hams are trimmed in such a way as to be able to identify whether they are a leg ham or a shoulder ham. The skins on the outside of the leg are carefully cut away to reveal a sharp V shape to denote it's a leg. The shoulder, on the other hand, has its skin cut away to reveal a half moon or crescent to denote it's a shoulder. The legs are called jamon and the shoulders are called paleta. This visual cue makes it really easy to identify which ham is which, as the shoulder hams, as a rule, are cheaper than the leg hams because they're usually smaller in size. Once the hams have been trimmed, they go on to an initial salting by hand. The salt here contains a little sodium nitrite which acts as a preservative and ensures a good colour as it cures and matures. The initial salting guarantees salt gets into all parts of the ham and starts the curing process. From here, the hams are moved into the salting room, where they are stacked into layers and encased in the finest sea salt. The hams are stored in this room for about 8 days in total. After 4 days, the stacks are reversed. The hams on top of the pile are stacked on the other side of the room, and a new stack is formed, with the hams which were on top now sitting on the bottom, and the hams that were initially on the bottom sitting on top. This ensures the hams receive a good pressing while they take on salt and lose moisture. This is a key step in the preservation process. Adding salt and reducing moisture all go to making it possible to keep the hams at ambient temperature later on in the process, while they continue to dry and mature. While the hams are in the room, the temperature is carefully controlled at around 3 to 4 degrees Celsius, and the humidity is increased to around 95% relative humidity. The strict temperature control is really important, as even at this stage the hams could go bad if the temperature was set too high. The elevated level of humidity in the salting room is important as it prevents excessive moisture being drawn out of the meat by the salt. This is important as too much moisture leaving the ham can mix with the crystal salt, dissolving into brine, and will be reabsorbed into the meat, making it too salty. From the salting room, the hams start the drying and maturing process. Initially, the salt is brushed off the surface of the hams, and they are rinsed in fresh water and allowed to dry. The hams are then hung in an open, well-ventilated drying room to begin the aging process. While in the drying chamber, the environment is carefully controlled to maintain a high humidity and low temperature. Too dry on the outside of the ham will form a crust which can seriously slow or even stop the ham from drying evenly. Hams dried in an atmosphere that is too dry can experience a phenomenon known as case hardening. This is where the outer layer of the meat surface prevents moisture migrating from the centre of the ham to the outside surface. With the hams hanging from the roof, they are exposed to the in-house flora which settles on the ham and starts to further influence the flavour. Periodically the hams are brushed with oil to prevent drying out too fast. Similarly, in Italy, prosciutto ham producers use a fat cap made from lard, flour and salt to cover the meat's exposed meat face, preventing excessive drying. Covering the exposed meat face with oil dramatically slows the rate at which moisture leaves the ham, allowing the hams to be matured for longer so as to develop a more complex flavour. The hams now mature slowly, losing moisture while enzymes in the meat subtly alter the flavour, colour and texture, giving that distinctive rich ham flavour with the unmistakable deep red colour. The fat transforms, changing from a white to pale yellow and a very pale pink tinge in some circumstances. As it matures, it softens, releasing oils, developing a delicious melt-in-the-mouth texture. The hams are matured for between 36 to 48 months. The shoulders, being slightly smaller, are matured for a shorter time, usually around 24 months. Jamon Iberico is graded according to the breed and diet. The system adopted for managing this process came into force in January 2014 and consists of a series of 4 coloured plastic tags. Each ham or paleta is graded according to its breed purity and diet and receives a label, which is attached around its foot. The colours in order from most expensive to least expensive are black, red, green and white. The black tag denotes the pig is 100% Iberian breed and has foraged naturally on acorns without supplementary feeds. The red tag denotes the pig is between 50 and 75% Iberian breed and has foraged naturally on acorns without supplementary feeds. The green label, known as Cibo de Campo, indicates the pig is 50% Iberian breed and has been fed on grain, not free foraging, and are fattened on acorns before slaughter. The white label, known as Cibo, indicates the pig is 50% Iberian breed and has been fed on farm feed and does not roam free. This is one of the finest hams in the world and one you have to taste. There are so many places now that sell Jamon Iberico, so you'll have no problem getting hold of a few slices. However, the next time you're in Spain and happen across a delicatessen, tapas bar or restaurant where they sell Jamon Iberico, you'll have a greater insight into how it's produced and, more importantly, which of these hams are the finest grade of Jamon Iberico.